You're listening to the Custom Built Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to discuss insurance. So stay tuned. So insurance is a tricky space here. So I'm going to talk to you just really quickly about insurance and homeowners insurance very specifically. I am not an expert when it comes to insurance. So this, again, is a quick episode, but something that I have experienced in the reconstruction side, dealing with insurances and homeowners needing to go through their insurance to put in claims to get their homes repaired. But also, I met somebody recently who is insurance, I guess an underwriter, and she does homeowners insurance. And she's like, please talk to your audience about their homeowners insurance. And it was in another light that I didn't even realize was something that needed to be addressed. So if I wasn't really aware of it, coming from somebody that at least worked a little bit with insurance, maybe this is something that would be new for somebody else. So I thought this would be a good, at least just a bring it to your attention type episode. So what I want to talk to you about is your homeowner's insurance and knowing what your coverage is, and also knowing if it's a decent company and a quality one, because when we're talking about needing to file a claim because you had some kind of loss in your home, do you know if your homeowner's insurance is current with the appraisal of your home? So I've had situations where the damage to a house, so it was a fire, but the homeowners wanted to stay in their home. So sometimes it's like, do we just like call it collateral and sell the property as is and then just, move on? Or can we actually rebuild our house? So they chose to rebuild their house, but their insurance, they had to pay at least $100,000 outside of what their insurance was covering. So there's times where the insurance just won't cover the extensive amount of damage. And I'm not saying this is going to be everybody's situation. There's plenty of insurances out there that were able to cover homes that caught on fire. But this was just something that made me pay attention closer to my own personal home insurance. And then also just making sure that the coverage is appraised appropriately to what your house's value is now. So if your home is worth more now, but your insurance is showing an older appraisal, you're not going to get more money just because your house appraises higher because of what your insurance agreement is. So I wanted to make sure that that was something y'all are taking a look at, making sure your insurance and your house appraisal, all of that matches up. I might even be using the wrong terms, okay? Because like I said, this is not my specialty. These are things that I had run into personally in my jobs, but also as, seeing some other homeowners having to deal with this, which, it's not a fun situation to be in. And then also just knowing like what your coverage will cover, right? So for example, there were times where insurance companies only cover one coat of paint. So if you are needing to paint your whole house, then you're like, well, this is a great time for me to change that color. Well, if your walls are a dark color and you only have one coat of paint to cover it, guess what? You're going to have to pay out of pocket to cover the remaining labor and materials that's going to be there. So just understanding like those nuances that are within your coverage and what your insurance your insurance will cover. And also just out of my experience, insurance is going to cover like kind material. So if you have plywood cabinets, you should in theory be able to get cabinets that are plywood built, not MDF board, like the it's easily breaks, it swells when it gets wet. So if you have real wood cabinets, you should be getting replaced with real wood cabinets. If you have vinyl sheet flooring, you're going to get only coverage to replace vinyl sheet flooring. So if you're like, hey, I have this laundry room that has sheet vinyl, I want to bring it up to like an LVP or, some kind of engineered floor, whatever, tile, you're going to have to pay out of pocket to make up that difference. And totally cool, just as long as you know this. These are things I just want to make sure you're aware of. Again, just to make sure that you know what your insurance covers for you. Another thought that I just had was a lot of times insurance companies aren't paying for so if you're getting new cabinets, they're not necessarily buying new hardware for you. So all those pulls and knobs you have, they might just be covering they call it detach and reset. So taking them off and put off the old set and putting them on the new cabinets. So maybe just going through and just checking and getting a little bit more educated on what your homeowner's insurance covers. And when I was telling this new person that I met, we were at this really great little women's healing circle and just talking about the things that we do as far as like our professions. And I was telling her about, what I do here and helping homeowners. And so as a homeowner's insurance agent person, she says, please have your audience call their homeowner's insurance if they're going through a renovation. Because apparently, if you're going through a renovation, there's a whole bunch of stuff that if something happened in your home, like somebody's working and they get hurt, like your homeowner's insurance will not cover it because you didn't tell them that you were going through a home renovation. I was completely unaware of this. So this was like a clause, or again, don't quote me on these like technical terms because I am not the expert. But I guess there's areas where if you don't let your homeowner's insurance know that you're going through a home renovation and something happens in that time frame, your homeowner's insurance might not cover it. So always go through and double check your homeowner's insurance to make sure that you are covered appropriately, that you are happy with the coverage that you have through your homeowner's insurance. And because not all homeowners insurances are created equal. I've seen, like I said, some would only cover one coat of paint where others will cover, multiple coats of paint. It just really depends on your insurance and your plans and what you have covered. So make sure that minimum, that you call your homeowner's insurance if you're going through a renovation. 2, check and make sure that the appraisal of your house is covered under your homeowner's insurance if there was some kind of massive loss that you experience. And 2 and 3, just make sure that you understand what type of things are covered. Let me actually add another thing to that. So a lot of homeowners insurance will not cover maintenance. So if you purchase a house that has an older roof and then it starts to leak, it's still your responsibility. So, and then you get loss from that leak, it was your responsibility to repair your roof. It's not going to be your homeowner's insurance to repair the roof. And it might repair your leaks. I guess that's kind of like a nuance that will depend on your insurance company. But those are types of things where they're not going to cover it. I've seen other situations where pipes burst and the homeowner's insurance did not cover the pipe, replacing the pipes and fixing the plumbing, because that was, again, a maintenance thing that they should have had repaired, versus they did pay for getting like the repairs from where they had to make cuts in the drywall. No, wait, actually I'm lying. Where the plumber actually cut the drywall, that wasn't covered, but like where the water affected their home, like their flooring, that actually was replaced and covered under their insurance. But some things are just not going to be covered. So there was like the drywall that wasn't covered because the plumber needed to cut it open to repair the pipes, and the homeowner insurance was not covering the drywall or the plumbing repairs, but it did cover it might have covered the paint, because the paint might have been ruined from the paint, from the water loss. It's really tricky. So just understanding what your insurance will cover. So, and knowing that maintenance is not the same as a loss that happens that is out of your control. So like if somebody hooks up your plumbing incorrectly, that's not a maintenance issue. That was poor plumbing. So knowing what your insurance will cover, how much is covered, what type of things are covered, and then also updating your homeowner's insurance when you are going to renovate your home. So I'm sure there's plenty more that we can discuss around homeowners insurance and home renovations and loss or anything else around that. But these are the few things that I know are important and that I ran into the most. And apparently, if you don't update your homeowner's insurance when you're going through a renovation, can get you in a lot of trouble. So make sure you take a look at your homeowner's insurance and see how you're covered. And that is my non-expert expert advice for you today. All right. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope this was helpful, or at least shed a light on maybe a topic that wasn't even on your radar. And if this was helpful for you and you found value in it, please let me know by leaving a review or shooting me a message. And make sure you hit subscribe. So subscribe, review, and please share with your friends if, again, this is something that might benefit them. And you can follow me on all of the social medias at Hello Katie Go. And I will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Thank you for hanging out today. If you liked what you heard, please make sure you hit subscribe. And I hope to see you again next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.